Yes, this is Psalm 101. The word will kind of jumps off the page. In these 8 verses, once you see it, it's all over this psalm. Specifically, I will. David, the writer, is saying, I will, an awful lot. It seems like every other line all the way through. Or an equivalent term like shall. Essentially determination. This is what's going to happen. He says, I will sing of steadfast love and justice to you, O Lord. I will make music. I will ponder the way that is blameless. So when will you come to me? I will walk with integrity of heart within my house. I will not set before my eyes anything that is worthless. I hate the work of those who fall away. It shall not cling to me. And he keeps going right the way through. Let's drop down to the final couple of verses. No one who practices deceit shall dwell in my house. No one who utters lies shall continue before my eyes. So the shall is kind of like a will or a will not. Morning by morning I will destroy all the wicked in the land, cutting off all the evildoers from the city of the Lord. And so for 8 verses, David is saying, I will not, this shall not happen. It's a very determined psalm. There's a logical progression to it. Begins with himself in verse 2, and then talks about his household, how his rule will be fulfilled, how he will do his job as king, as leader, and then that kind of continues down through. So we've got the second reference to the in my house there in verse 7. And then in verse 8, there's the in the land and from the city of the Lord. So there's this kind of expansive sense to the theme of the psalm. He wants there to be integrity in himself, and then in his rule, in his household, in his work, if you like, as king, and then spilling out in terms of the land, the city. There's a growing, spreading sense of integrity and a determination for it. But let's go back to the beginning. I want to give us a clean look at the beginning of the psalm, because we need to see something here that is easily missed. Once you've spotted something like the I will, it feels very determined. You might notice the I will walk with integrity of heart, that kind of personal commitment in verse 2, which then moves on to the house, if you like, the sort of household rule reign of King David from verses 3 down to 8. And so there's this initial statement about himself that is then going to spill out in terms of the way he rules. So we can think about this in terms of church or ministry, any arena in which we have a leadership role within the family. The integrity of the leader matters profoundly, because that is then going to spill out and affect those who are under that rule. And we can see that here. It's a good point to notice. But here's the thing I want to make sure we don't miss. Just because I will is all over the page, let's not miss that just as 3 through 8 kind of spills over from verse 2, so verse 2 spills over from verse 1. What is the actual foundation of this psalm? It's not David's self-determination to walk with integrity. That is a response. But what is it a response to? It is a response to what he says in verse 1. Notice that there's language here of singing and making music. He's celebrating something. He's captivated by something. Something has so grabbed him that he grabs for his guitar, right? There's a stirring of his heart in verse 1 that leads on to verse 2, which can then spill into verses 3 to 8. And it's so familiar language, we could so easily miss it, but we mustn't. I will sing of steadfast love and justice. He is thinking here, he's dwelling on and celebrating the character of God, right? It's the steadfast, loyal, covenant love of God. It is the upright, majestic justice of God in his reign as king. What a wonderful, good God he is. That so stirs David that David's response is, I'm going to walk with integrity of heart. And then I will make sure that that spills over into my rule and my realm. And I think it's really important that we get that. Otherwise, there's a danger that we kind of try to self-manufacture it, that we look within first and then let that spill out. But the reality is that what happens within us is a response to what we're seeing in God. We've got to start with him. And that's what verse 1 does. It's just a quick little verse, and it's easily missed, but it's the key to the whole psalm. For you as a spiritual leader in whatever realm you have influence, the key will be your looking at God, recognizing and celebrating his character so that it stirs a response in you and then through you. Thanks for watching. Enjoy Psalm 101. Let it be a challenge and a stir to prayer and to worship and to hopefully good leadership too. And make sure you share it with others as well.